Hello, I'm Tom Nichols. With regard to the BU Full project, I guess I'm here to try and give my 2 cents about what I imagine BU Full is, which in my mind is about sort of living yourself authentically and being realistic about the needs that we all have about engaging with people around us and feeling that we are listened to and believed by the people that we live with. So I've known about this project for many years and have had some engagement with it. I've worked since I finished university in development, and that has meant that I've had to be very poor. I've had to work in various second jobs to support myself, and I certainly never made enough money to really make ends meet frequently. What it has given me is the opportunity to work with a group of people that are fantastically motivated by care and love for other members of the society, and that is an incredible privilege. And yes, and the ability to talk to these people is, it's fantastic. I mean, to be allowed to be let into people's lives to ask very deep and personal questions about how they live and about why they do that, is a total privilege that nobody should ever give up. I'm lucky enough at the moment to work with offenders and to be able to do so means that you need to really have a very good understanding of why people are driven to exist in the ways that they do. For me, BU Full, living on this planet, requires that you take an active interest in the way in which it moves forwards, and if you exist in an organisation or situation that does not in some way drive human happiness forwards, then I fail to see the significance of your lifestyle. I recognise that there are cogs in the world that we live in, but if those cogs don't produce happiness, I fail to recognise why they are meaningful. So for me, you absolutely have to have a social impact or social outcome as a part of the world and the job that you live in. And happily, I mean, I work with ex-offenders now. I work in catering or teaching in catering, but that's only a tiny sort of pinnacle of what we're trying to do. I mean, it's a terribly therapeutic process, and teaching people to be empowered or helping people to be empowered is an enormous aspect of what we do. I recognise, or I believe, that the BU Full project is engaged to some extent in investigating those terms, which I think is fabulous. So the self for my personal experience is obviously my own history, and that is about dislocation. It's about living multiculturally, and it's about having moved around the world quite frequently. So my self is a fragmented being, and I love that, and I'm very happy about that in terms of my own life. I see my urge to want to work with others as an attempt to understand the people that I find so frequently in the world that I live in, and are often difficult or weird to work with, and in those terms I've always sought out people that are more difficult or on the edges of society, because I have a deep belief that really one doesn't come to understand how one's society is, since we are so socialised within it, until we get to that very edge of where we're at. And at that point, we start to understand where our society is. I think being black and being a black person is an enormously difficult situation to be in, and we're only starting, I think, to understand how complicated the situation of slavery and the historical ramifications of slavery were on with and around black people. I don't think as a people that we have got the sort of capacity of understanding how to deal with the level of suffering that we produced in societies that came before us, and we certainly don't as a country have a way of transmitting that in a way that people in our society can understand about what it is to be British and what it is to accept the colonial experience that we actually meted out across the world. So I think othering is if you look to Said and the philosophical ideas of othering, you will come to understand that othering is a really important way of dividing people, when actually we aren't divided by race, we are divided by class and by money, and that's it.